Let's welcome in our next guest, Pradip Hotchandani. Pradip, good afternoon. Let's start with BHEL. It's up 15%. Has it, taken over all your levels and now it goes into a fresh new area?
Hi, good afternoon, Pankaj. Yes, after today's move, it has taken out previous top of 151, which was the top made in July. So I think it has cleared the space for further upside till about 180, where its next major hurdle in the form of 20-month moving average is placed. So yes, I think 20 rupees further upside from here cannot be ruled out. On the downside, I think 151, which I just mentioned as was the earlier top, would now act as a support. So keeping that as a stop loss, one can continue holding a long position on BHEL.
Right. And what will be the next targets that you would look at?
Yeah, here, as I mentioned, 180 is where 20-month moving average of BHEL is placed. So that would be my next target.
How would, today is of course an event-based day. So, we've got results. Probably people were caught on the wrong side and we've seen such covering coming in. How would tomorrow's move be a much better indicator whether it's going to 180 or not? And if yes, what's the sort of move, say, you would look at over the next 2 days?
So yes, as you rightly mentioned, the event day is something which you would like follow up of which happening over next couple of days. So if after today's up move, the stock is able to hold on to this trend tomorrow, that would confirm the sort of today's breakout. So yes, to make it a confirm move or to make a decisive bullish view, we would like to see today's up move getting sustained tomorrow and going forward. But as I mentioned, today's move is coming on the back of very large volumes, and whatever consolidation phase we saw over last 2-3 weeks, it sort of meandered around its 200 DMA, and then it has broken out of its previous top. So it looks like that this move should sustain over next couple of weeks, and the stock is good for 180 over say next month or so.
Right. As far as some of the other PSU names are concerned, so maybe a Canara Bank, can you just tell us about it? 6% higher, 306. Really, after a long time, we are seeing volume-based buying into Canara Bank.
So whenever this PSU banking thing came up, we used to tell that a lot of these banks are getting resisted near their 20-month moving averages. Now, for Canara Bank, that level was placed around 260-266 region, which it has taken out in recent past. And now I think it's good for further up move till about say 400 kind of levels, which is where its upper band of Bollinger on monthly chart is placed. And 360 is before that, 360 is the level where its 100-month moving average is placed. So I think 306 is the current level. 360 is the nearest target or resistance I see on Canara Bank. So I think yes, it's good for further up move.
What did you say? 300 and what is the next resistance?
360, where its 100-month moving average is placed.
Right. Any view on ONGC? They would declare numbers today. Again, asking it from a PSU point of view because NMDC is doing well, Hindustan Copper, BHEL, some of the banks as well.
So here I think I would watch out for 250 area where its 20-month moving average is placed, and this was the target we were working with for past couple of months. Because of the up move in crude, we held the view that the stock has bottomed out and it can at least go to its 20-month moving average. So that moving average is downward sloping and it is currently placed around 250. So that is our nearest target, which it is very close to that level. So it would be interesting to see whether after the result it is able to cross that level. But 250 I think is the nearest or important resistance level to one.
As far as PSUs are concerned, ONGC would be one of the biggest underperformers?
Yes, because in the PSC basket, Nifty PSC index, you have oil marketing companies, you have Bharat Electronics, you have Concor. So these are all part of Nifty PSC index, and I think ONGC would be one of the underperformers, top underperformers in that bank.
Right. Petronet LNG, any view? So results came out, results were good, but today we've seen some downgrades coming in and Petronet is down 3%.
So here, including, apart from Petronet, IGL, MGL, Gujarat Gas, this whole pack had a steep run up over past say few months, and Petronet particularly developed a negative divergence on its weekly charts last week. So I think after a steep run up, if you have negative divergence on weekly chart, then you can expect some sort of consolidation. So I think the stock can correct till about 320 330 region, where its 34-day moving average is placed. But after this steep run up, I won't be comfortable buying at these levels, and I would wait for correction to get in.
We were talking to Pradip Hotchandani, is still with us. Let's welcome in Pritesh Mehta, Head of Technical Research at IIFL. Pradip, a word on SpiceJet. It's not a F&O name, but it's been there for a while. Do you have sufficient history to tell us about what's the view on SpiceJet?
Airways had a steep fall from the tops made in January 2016. Talking about SpiceJet, it made a high of 95 and corrected around 40% to kind of 55 kind of levels. And then it made a double bottom kind of formation. It again retested this level. So from that sense, 55 becomes a very important support level. On the higher side, 68, 69 is the region where its 200 DMA as well as couple of other important resistance on weekly charts are placed. So this 68, 69 level is very crucial resistance. If it's able to take out this level and sustain above that, then I think it's good for 95 again. It can retest those level again. So I think I would watch out for 68, 69 resistance on the higher side.
Right. Pritesh Mehta also now joins us. Pritesh, just quickly a view on the markets.
Now see, I continue to be able to this market. We are breaking out of a trading range. Last time on the show, we did mention that 8730 was a resistance, and market took that out rather effortlessly. As a trader, you need to respect range breakouts. So it is not for me to decide on comment that market is overbought or overvalued after a run up 3% in last week's trade. But in fact, the market is in a sweet spot. We are going to be in a period where stocks from the broader markets, indices, are going to make fresh 52-week highs every now and then. But again, it is also possible that we might go through a period of time-wise correction. Take today's case, we were down by 27 odd points, but again, not much correction is seen in the large cap in the index itself. But there could be a case that as counters which are run up a lot, something like Axis, IndusInd or HDFC, they might correct, and the focus could shift to some other counters which may lead from front. So I think this kind of sector rotation or time-wise correction will take place, but overall the structure of market continues to be bullish.
Any view on Jet Airways? It's right now making new highs, up 4.5%.
Yeah, this is a strong counter. Now see, on several occasions it went to 520, 525 levels and provided a pullback. Now in this time around, in last couple of weeks, we have seen some sort of base building taking place. Now it's trying to confirm a breakout from this base building pattern. So I would be eagerly waiting for a close above 555. If in today's trade we are closing about that level, I think we are going to see a rally towards 620.
Right. Pritesh, just request you to stay on. Pradeep, just stay on with us. About 30-40 seconds remaining for markets to shut. 22 points down for the Nifty and 45 for Sensex. Tata Power down 2.3. Adani Ports 0.5% higher. Bharti Airtel 0.5% lower. 319 for Bharti Airtel. Ambuja Cement about 1% on the lower side. 274. Power Grid down about 1%. NTPC 1.4% decline. 161. HDFC Limited down about 1.8. Tata Motors DVR. It's not up and firing today like it was in the last few days, but still in the green, even though 30 paisa on the higher side. Cipla 583, 5 rupees higher. LNT up about 2 rupees or so, 1,518. BPCL down about 1.4 and HCL Tech absolutely flat. Sun Pharma 777, 5 rupees down. IndusInd Bank 7 rupees decline. Actually, in the morning, IndusInd was among the top gainers. BHEL was the top gainer. 15% higher, 160, but it's an event-based sort of a move. They declared numbers. Numbers are something which the street has liked, and that has led to this 15% move. 80 million shares traded today, by far one of the best volumes that you would have seen for BHEL. Bank of Baroda 3% higher, 175, about 16 million in terms of shares traded, so 1.6 crores again. Not that bad in terms of volume for the second top gainer, 170, 175, 176 as far as Bank of Baroda is concerned. Let's look at some of the other gainers as well and what was gaining. So ONGC ahead of numbers. Numbers should come out anytime soon. Now, of course, they will only come out post-market hours and markets would react to it tomorrow. SBI is up 2.6%, 267. ICICI Bank is up 2%, 278 for ICICI Bank. That also continues to move up. Tata Steel is up 1%, 390, 391 for Tata Steel. Hindalco, Bharti Infratel, Cipla, Coal India, all of them are among gainers. Coal India is up 0.6%. Aurobindo Pharma, Lupin, Adani Ports, Infosys are up about 0.5% or so each. Let's look at some of the losers as well. So Yes Bank was down 2.5%. Asian Paints was down close to 2%. Gail was looking on the poor side, 2% lower. Tata Power was down close to 2%. Tech Mahindra 1.8% decline. HDFC down 1.7%. These are some of the names that were slightly on the lower side. On the broader market space, wanted to point out SpiceJet. That's of course a name which did very well in the last 20 minutes. It was doing well, but then did further added on to gains once the numbers were out. SpiceJet was up a full 20%. That happened in the last 15-20 odd minutes. SAIL was up about 7 odd percent, 52, 53. Jain Irrigation, there was a report from Morgan Stanley. It was up close to 7 odd percent. South Indian Bank was up close to about 6 odd percent. So a lot of other mid-cap movers actually did pretty well. Both Pradip Hotchandani as well as Pritesh are with us. Pritesh, any view on Steel Authority of India, 7% higher today, or maybe NMDC as well?
Definitely, both these counters. I think this, from short-term perspective, both these counters could provide strong rally going ahead. Now, see, for SAIL is a classic case of range consolidation breakout taking place. This particular counter was moving sideways since the second week of July, and now this time around finally it had a break on the upside. I believe that is a next target could come around to 57, 58. And talking about NMDC now, see, this stock had underperformed a lot, and now it is trying to break out from a strong overhead resistance. This overhead resistance was kept around 110. Now it has successfully taken it out. I think there is more on the upside. 125, 128 should be the next target.
Right, but it's a very short-term move, right? So it has to happen quickly if it has to.
I think for NMDC it might take some time, but for SAIL I think we are going to see more in the near term.
Right. What's any view on names like PNB? We were just and Pradip were just chatting about mid-cap PSU banking names. Any view on PNB? Maybe Canara Bank as well.
Now see, if you look at the recent rally, the bank from the bank Nifty space, PSU banks are led from they are the darlings of the current market, and I believe there is more to come. We could have a scenario that the private banks, the likes of Industry and Axis, might take a bit of breather, but the momentum will continue in these counters, especially Bank of India. From the PSU banks, we believe that Bank of India could do well. The stock had an over resistance around 1117 on weekly chart, and it took it out in this week's trade, and I believe that there could be a movement towards 129, 130 in the near term, and above that we are talking about levels of 142. This particular stock looks interesting.
Any top picks that you have, apart from what we have discussed?
We just talked about. I think one particular stock which is on our radar, it's Reliance Infra. See, we are talking about momentum-driven market, and ADAG pack, they are definitely darlings of the market when we talk about momentum. Reliance Capital has done its bet. It has rallied sharply by 100 rupees last couple of weeks, but Reliance Infra is lagging behind. If you look on the monthly chart, it has just completed a breakout from a tier triangle pattern, and I think on the weekly chart also we see a strong breakout. It is just a matter of time before this stock starts participating. I think we can see a level of 665 going ahead and maintain a stop of 600.
Right, Pritesh. Thank you so much for taking out time for us. Hope you have a great day going ahead. Pradeep is still with us. Pradeep, let's start with Reliance Infra. It is one of the top picks of India Infoline Technicals. How would you view that name?
So, last time we had discussion on ADAG pack, I had said that Reliance Capital is our top pick because Reliance Infra had strong headline resistance on the way up in the form of 34-month moving average, and that moving average is currently placed around 630. So I would still want that hurdle to be taken out. That is where it's a stiff trend line, a strong trend line hurdle is also placed. If you connect major tops on its monthly chart, that hurdle is also placed around 630. So I would not take a long position at this juncture. I would wait for this hurdle to be taken out before taking a fresh positive view.
You know, you had spoken about Reliance Capital. That time, I think it was around 510, 520. It's currently at 560. Is it still a buy?
So kind of, it has kind of achieved our targets we had at that time. I think it was around 480, and we had a first target of 530 and followed by 565, 570. So 570 is the region where its major monthly trend line is placed. So I think this is a major hurdle, and this needs to be taken out before taking a fresh positive view. If 570 is taken out, then it can go to 670, but I think it needs to consolidate a bit around this level, and once it takes out, after this consolidation, if it takes out this hurdle 570 decisively, then it can straight away go to 670.
Any view on Titan? It was down 3% today.
So in the jewelry basket or consumption space, this is our preferred bet. I think it eventually can touch its highest high, which was 448 that it made earlier in February. So and in fact it has recently went very near to that. So in a sense it has kind of formed double top. Once this 448 level is taken out, then we can talk about higher levels, but it can take some breather and like consolidate around these levels before taking that high.
Right. Gail would declare numbers today post-market hours. It was down 2%, but it started a trend. Is that trend continuing to be on the positive side?
So this is another stock in the oil and gas space which has not performed quite good. Looking at its major charts, it's in a very range-bound move. If you look at the charts of over last 6-8 months, closer to 410, 415 is the region where it faces a lot of resistance. If that is taken out, then we can talk of higher levels, and we'll wait out for result to become a trigger for that. But as I mentioned, 410, 420 is the stiff resistance area.
Can you just sum up the closing today for us? Bank Nifty has done very well. Mid-cap index has done well. Levels on Nifty, mid-cap index, Bank Nifty, or any sector that you would bet on, which is looking good on it at an index level?
So sectorally, we are still very positive on housing finance companies. Auto also tops that list. Auto plus auto.
Pradip, can you just start with Nifty? Can you just start with Nifty levels as well after closing?
Yeah. So Nifty, after that big consolidation of 4 weeks, had a breakout above 87.30, and since then we had been working with target of 89.15, and it has overshot those levels. And at today's high, both Nifty as well as Bank Nifty were within 2% of their highest highs made in January. For Nifty, it was March 2015 when highest high was made, and for Bank Nifty, it was January 2015 when highest high was made. So I think on the hourly charts, a bit of negative divergence is also in place on both these charts. So in the short term, I would expect some consolidation, but broadly, I think the trend is higher. On the Nifty, I would expect 8820 to 8800 to become a strong support area on the way down. For Bank Nifty, I would expect 20,000 to provide a good support in the short term. So till these levels are intact, the short term trend is also intact. But as I mentioned, some sort of consolidation cannot be ruled out. But talking about sectors, as I mentioned, auto, then you have housing finance companies and mid-cap pharma. These three are our preferred sectors.
Pradip, thank you so much for taking out time for us. I hope to see you again soon.